I think Marathon looks fun, but Bungie's hiding the game's best features. Now, I always think it's fun when you try to market your game and try to like not tell people what's interesting about it, because that's what everyone's wondering. They're like, "Why is Marathon going to be different?" And they're like, "Trust me, bro. Trust me." Okay. If you guys like what I do here, we just do this Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right. So I think Marathon looks fun, but if Bungie is hiding game's best features. So Bungie's Marathon reportedly has raid-like mechanics to do amidst a PvP action. Okay. It says, following a recent string of alternative reality games, puzzle discovered and solved by fans, developer Bungie gave players the first in-depth look at the upcoming multiplayer game Marathon. First revealed this spring in 2023, the PvP-focused extraction shooter reboot is now officially slated to release this year on Xbox Series XS, Windows PC, and PlayStation 5 on September 23rd. And this is the first new game from studio since 2017 release of Destiny 2. Now, the gameplay reveals the longer gameplay overview, and the Bungie's lengthy hour-long showcase were also released this past weekend. It's also been interesting to see the wider community react in presentations. Overall, it seems most gamers have mixed feelings about what they saw. Marathon's high production value, undeniably apparent, but many of them felt that it was a shown of lack of distinguishing features and mechanics and set to be apart for its peers. Overall, I can see where people are also coming from when they also haven't seen Marathon so far overall. It says, I dig its glitchy, futuristic, almost punk-like aesthetic with ultra-realistic architecture and vibrant colors, and everything about the core gunplay and movement looks snappy and satisfying thanks to a punchy sound effects and beautiful detail animations. It says, granted, a few of these things are clearly borrowed from Destiny, but still, indeed, what Bungie showed makes the game look like a fun shooter, which is fine, right? Obviously, that's what you want. You want a fun game. I do think the stylistic of it, I do think the reason they're doing it is trying to stick themselves out from everybody else, right? So even if it hasn't helped it stand out as being a unique one, well, they haven't really shown to make it unique besides the art style and whatnot. It just feels like another shooter. It says, notably, though, content creators were quietly invited to playtest Marathon the past months and were also given the green light to share their thoughts over the weekend. And a feature I've heard about from a few of them, and the YouTuber Scaro, 9 in particular, has wondering why the developers didn't choose the spotlight in this reveal. He says, according to them, the game's Marathon colonial ship map, along with others, are considerably lesser extent will have PvE puzzles and secret mechanics for players to figure out as they battle other squads. Okay, in essence, it sounds like Bungie is drawing inspirations from Destiny beloved raids and dungeons to add significant flair to the new PvP experience. Now, I wonder how this is going to. I'm going to try to make a comparison a little bit to Sea of Thieves, right? And follow me here, right? In Sea of Thieves, there's 6 teams, I think, or 5 teams, whatever. Which is, I believe, if you have a full crew, it's 24 people on the map. I think they have 18 on this map because it's teams of 3. Okay. Inside of Sea of Thieves, there's not raid-like things, but you could compare like a raid to the fort, the Skull Fort, or the Spanish fort that they have, or the pirate ships that they battle. And so while you're in this open space, okay, you could go do these little events, these dungeon-esque type of events to get the loot and stuff to bring back, and then other people can attack you while you're doing that event. So obviously, Sea of Thieves has sort of, it's not really an extraction. I wouldn't call Sea of Thieves an extraction, but basically that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to get the loot and get it back to the home base, which would be an extraction point. But when you're doing this in Sea of Thieves, there's no time limit. There's no time limit to do those things. So you can constantly come back and do stuff. There's a 25-minute time limit inside of Marathon. So I wonder how in-depth puzzle thing that this is going to happen, right? So I don't know if it's going to be like a Vault of Glass where, let's say you jump on a map and there's like clues here and there. So maybe your first drop into that new map, obviously you don't know what it is, but you come across a clue and then someone else finds a clue and then all of a sudden you find out a door opens. Now that you've played it, sort of like Blueprints that we're playing, right? You constantly do the rogue-like mechanic. So in this, it could be like a rogue-like mechanic where the first time you drop in, you're not going to know how to open the door. Then you figure it out. Then couple matches in, you figure out how to open the door. Then the sixth time you go in, now you finally open the door real fast. Then you go inside the actual dungeon, and you start piecing together little by little how to get through the dungeon. But the problem is there's a time limit. There's a time limit of 25 minutes, and other people coming in and messing with you. Now, I wonder if the community as a whole, because of Destiny community, is if people will work together. Okay? Now, obviously, there's no proximity chat. Okay? So it'll be interesting to see if people work together to try to figure out these things and if it backfires in Bungie's face, because this is what happened in Fallout 76. I know I'm taking a bunch of different comparisons from different games, but that's what this sounds like to me. Like, if they're going to do dungeons and different things inside of this that they borrow from Destiny, it's going to be a little weird because you only have a certain amount of time to actually figure this stuff out. So are they going to be super complicated to try to figure out and you have to do it over time? Or is it going to be super simple to figure it out? They're just spread across the map to open up a door. That's what I would like to know. Okay, it says Marathon ship map, I think, is going to be very exciting. It says it's hesitant to call it a raid-like in terms of Destiny, but it's definitely like if you're trying to solve puzzles and secrets while you're in the midst of PvP. Explaining Scarrow in the recent video, grinding with a clarity, excitement sort of things is going to be secret sauce for this game. All I want to do is go back and ship the ship and solve the secrets and fight the enemies. So basically, he just wants to play a PvE game. Do you see the problem here? Right? Now, obviously, you're in PvP, and there's that excitement, right? Like in Sea of Thieves. A lot of people don't like playing Sea of Thieves because they get nervous and whatnot. But when you're on a ship and you overlook and you see a ship in the distance, you get excited. That's the same thing with an extraction shooter. When you're on a team and all of a sudden you see someone moving, you're like, oh, there's someone over there. That's sort of like the ship in the distance, right? You're like, oh, they could come and attack us, or they could stay by themselves. That's the exciting part of an extraction, okay? It says, mechanics going in the middle of the tense tactical PvP engagement sounds wild at best, wild in the best way. And it's exactly the kind of thing that would also help Marathon catch the eye of first-person shooter players, as already having an abundance of titles to play, which, again, makes Bungie's decision to not talk about all this more intriguing. Okay, perhaps the developer wasn't ready to show these types of PvPvE engagements off, but polished or not, I argue the attention should have been drawn to it. Marathon is a premium title. Okay, full price or not a full price one. It's likely to be around $40 and will have a battle pass. So that microtransaction shop is also willing to bet. It's also a tough sell in today's era where nearly every PvP game is free to play. And if Bungie wants people to fork over the cash and get over the entry barrier, it keeps impress them. It's an alt Fate of Concord shut down permanently in October. It's a glaring example of what can happen otherwise. Showcasing array-style mechanics are one way of the studio could also do just that. Like to see more Marathon Classic Aliens have more presence too. And if months leading up to the game's September release date, I'm really hoping it does. So look, I think this could be interesting if they do this. But again, I think the difference between a raid mechanic, right? Let's be honest. Destiny has some really cool raid mechanics and dungeon mechanics. You had to figure out puzzles and stuff like that. I'm just trying to figure out putting that into a PvPvE moment where it's like locked in to a 25-minute timer, and you're always constantly trying to figure out the puzzle. And then you're also, Fortnite's doing that a little bit now, right? It's not really a puzzle, but Fortnite has, at least last season when I played with my son, there was these vaults that you would have to open up. And while you did the vaults, you would plant the bombs to open up the vault, which is not really a puzzle to figure out. But basically what's happening is you're trying to open that vault. NPCs start attacking you. And then obviously alarms are going off, which is letting other teams know that you're trying to get the vault, and they're going to come and get it, right? So a lot of these games, Sea of Thieves, Fortnite, other extractions, they're already doing these things, okay? So this is not groundbreaking in any shape, way, or form that Marathon's doing. They're just going to take these mechanics that people are doing in other games and make it their own spin on it, which I hope it is interesting and fun. But if people are starting to do more of this puzzle-solving stuff, how many of these things are on the map? And after the first week, are people going to figure it out? Is it going to be too complicated to not figure out right away? Or is it going to be, once you figure it out, it's going to be super easy, and then everyone's going to be doing it, and then no one's going to be fighting, and then no one's going to be extracting. They're all going to try to figure out these puzzles. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think of this raid-esque type mechanic or dungeon-type mechanics inside the extraction shooter? Do you think this could be the thing that brings this extraction up to the next level? Or do you think this is the tornado type of effect inside of Battlefield 2042? Oh, we got tornadoes, and it's going to be like a overhyped thing, but really it's nothing. Let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in the live chat. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching.